Thanks for coming back for another episode of Teslamonial. Today I'll be showing you how to swap out the stock steering wheel from the Tesla Model Y Juniper for a Yoke style steering wheel. I'm going to tell you why I did it, I'm going to tell you how to do it, and I'm going to take you along for my very first test drive with the Yoke steering wheel. I got this kit from a company called Hansshow. They give you everything you need to do the install on your own. I use these guys a lot for my Tesla accessories. Everything seems to work out well when I go with their company. I was worried that this actually wouldn't have the heating function because I thought, how could an aftermarket Yoke actually support the steering wheel heated function? But believe it or not, I got the heater on right now. Even though it's the middle of summer, it definitely works. So why did I want to do this? Well, firstly, I think it looks kind of cool, but in the past I never really understood the purpose of the functionality of the Yoke steering wheel compared to a wheel, right? For doing things like U-turns and things, it just seemed like it wouldn't be as intuitive, as functional. But when I first got the Model Y, coming from the Model 3, one of the first things that I noticed was that my elbow didn't fit in the exact same place, and it made it feel a little more awkward to hold the steering wheel the way that I typically would. Now, the Yoke-style steering wheel actually has a little bit more width along the bottom end because it's not circular shaped, it's more squared off along the bottom. So the first thing that I thought might happen after installing the Yoke-style steering wheel is that my elbows would fit more comfortably, and I was right. So right now, I've got both elbows planted right on the armrest, and I could comfortably hold the Yoke steering wheel while driving, which for me was a game changer because with the wheel, I felt myself with my elbows kind of hovering or dangling, and it just wasn't as comfortable. So number one, that worked for me. Number two, really just the looks and the aesthetics of a futuristic car. I don't necessarily think it's easier to drive with, but it does feel more comfortable. And the other reason might not have anything to do with you guys. It really had a lot more to do with when I place my camera and I'm videotaping, the wheel was in the way of my face a lot of times. So I got the Yoke style steering wheel just to help with the YouTube channel. That's the reality of it. So that's why I did it. And I want to talk about how I did it because Hansshow actually has a tutorial video, and there's a couple other tutorial videos that people make that are really quick, really to the point. But I find that these videos from the company themselves oftentimes oversimplify the installation process in an effort to get more people to buy and give them the confidence that it's an easy job to do. Now, I did watch their step-by-step video. However, I encountered a multitude of different obstacles that made the job rather difficult. So I shot my own instructional video for you today in hopes that it makes it easier for you to do the install than it was for me. Let's go. Let's start by talking about what tools you're going to need to get this job done. Luckily, the Hansshow kit comes with this little tool which helps get the airbag device off of the steering wheel. Next thing you're going to need is a breaker bar. Don't kid yourself, guys. You absolutely need one of these. The amount of torque required to get the steering wheel bolt off is ridiculous. What you're going to do with the breaker bar is get yourself what's called a hex bit socket, and these bad boys pop onto the end of a breaker bar or onto the end of a drill, but you are going to need the breaker bar. Once again, absolutely necessary. You're going to need that 10 millimeter hex bit. You're going to need yourself a 5 millimeter hex bit as well, and I think a set of needle nose pliers helps get one of the jobs done. You're going to need yourself a regular old Phillips head screwdriver, one of these plastic pry tools. You're also going to need a Torx bit set so that you can get the T10 Torx bit. That's one of the essential pieces as well. And some other things that I think help make the job easier is a bit extender. If you've got a couple different screw guns with different bits on them, it'll help get the job done faster. And I love these little headlamp things, guys, so get one of these if you don't have one. First step is going to be powering off the vehicle, but you're going to want to make sure that you leave your door open when you do this, just so that you can get out without waking the car up. You hit the car icon, you hit the safety menu, you swipe all the way to the bottom, and you power the car off. This is just so that you don't cause any unwanted electronic errors to the system when you pull out the steering wheel. Use the included tool from the Hansshow kit to pop it into the two holes on either side of the steering wheel. You got to press real hard. If you do it right, it'll pop right out, and then you got to unplug this little yellow plug that you see right here. The kit comes with this little grabber tool that I thought was to help pop this plug out, but it didn't do anything at all. So instead, I got rid of the little grabby tool and I got myself a set of needle nose pliers. I grabbed the little clip and I wiggled it in a vertical motion, and I got it to come out much easier. After a ridiculous amount of attempts trying to get this bolt loose with that 10 millimeter hex bit set, I ended up just putting some WD-40 on it. So I put a rag in there first and just did a light drizzle around the edges and let it sit for about 5 minutes. I'm not kidding when I said this was difficult. I literally had to strap my steering wheel into place because every time I cranked on the breaker bar, the steering wheel would turn. This is another reason why you need to turn the head unit off so that the wheel doesn't spin freely. But this is the position I got myself in that finally allowed me to get the job done. I had to get out of the car. I had to put pressure on the steering wheel like this. Trust me, guys, just do this the first time and this is going to be a game changer for you. Hold this thing for dear life. Put your entire body weight on this thing and it's going to sound like you literally broke the car once it gives way. But when it happens, that's when you know for sure that you can actually start on the next steps of this job. Listen to this.
I think I got it. Jesus
I
Christ.
put the hex bit socket on my screw gun to get the rest of the bolt out. The bolt caused a connection that made the horn go off. Ridiculous. There's another little maroon colored plug that you gotta get out with the needle nose also. This one took me 2 or 3 tries. Next, you gotta take off the steering wheel. Mine actually came out pretty easy, but I've seen some other folks have a hard time getting this one off. I saw somebody in another video put a little piece of tape here to hold this upright. I'm not 100% sure it was necessary, but I did it anyway just in case. And now it's time to switch out all the electronics from the steering wheel into the yoke. Remove the 4 black screws on the back of the wheel with a Phillips head driver. Remove the V-shaped cover plate by popping in a pry tool and then taking out the 4 screws on the inside. Then flip the wheel over and then take the V-shaped cover plate off from the front. Next, remove the little black ground wire screw right here with a Phillips bit. Now's the time to grab your 5mm hex bit to get these 3 little bolts off. Once again, 5mm hex bit. There's a little wire connection you've got to yank off. This one was on real tight and it was not easy to pull off, but I did do it with my bare hands. At this point, you should be able to easily take out the airbag spring assembly. There's 2 more screws you've got to get out right here. I started them off with a handheld Phillips bit and then I finished it with a screw gun. There's a little blue plug down here with a wire harness attached that you've got to remove. I used a flathead screwdriver to pop the little plug loose and then I just got the wires out and unplugged it. And then it's a good idea to get the rest of the wire harness out of the way. You've got to shimmy it around this little thing here. Just be careful not to damage the wire. Now you should be able to remove the back cover plate. There's 4 little clasps on the up end of this. You kind of got to push your thumbs in from the inside to get them to undo themselves. And this definitely takes a lot of finagling from the top side and from the bottom side. So I sped the video up just a little bit, but I hope this gives a pretty good explanation of how to get this piece off. Next, you're going to need that T10 Torx bit set to take off a total of 6 screws from the back of the wheel. It's pretty easy as long as you got the right tools. Now you got to remove these little clips that hold on a wire harness. I found that a flathead screwdriver pinching in the sides made it a lot easier to get these out. At this point, you should be able to easily remove the button assembly from the wheel. And now we're basically doing everything in reverse to the yoke. So we're starting with the button assembly, and you're going to put it on there. I think you're going to figure out how to do it right. At first, it's going to feel like it's not clicking into place, but remember that there's a couple screws that you screw in from the back that fully hold it in place. So let's go ahead and grab that screw gun and the T10 Torx bit to go ahead and put these 6 screws back in place. Make sure to put your wire harness back in the exact same way with these little clasps. Just push them in with your thumbs, and some of them are kind of tough, so I banged one in with the back end of a screwdriver. Now it's time to put the back cover plate on. This is about as difficult to put back on as it was to take off. I would just make sure you're paying attention to these little hooks at the bottom. Get those in place. There's 4 clasps along the top that you need to snap in, and I would recommend making sure that the outermost clasps are in place before you focus on the middle 2 clasps. You'll see what I'm talking about. Next, you can install these 4 Phillips bit screws on the back. I had to do this by hand with a screwdriver. Now it's time to put your wire harness back in place. This takes a little bit of finagling, but I think you'll figure it out. Grab that V-shaped face plate and you're going to go ahead and snap it into place. This doesn't take much effort. Just be careful not to break the ends. Now put in the 4 little black screws on the back. I felt like it was easiest to start these out by hand and then finish them up a little bit with a screw gun and then tighten them once more by hand. Now you can grab that V-shaped cover plate for the back and snap it right into place. Screw back in the screw that holds in the ground wire. For me, this was easiest to do by hand with a Phillips screwdriver. There's another 2 screws you got to put back in place. For me, this was easiest to do with the screw gun and then finish up with the handheld screwdriver. Now it's time to replace the airbag spring assembly. You're going to want to grab that 5mm hex bit. I like to put it on a screw gun just to get them to go in a little bit easier. You're almost done. Hop back inside the car and power down the head unit one more time. You can remove the piece of tape that you placed if you even put one. Personally, I don't think it made a difference. But now it's time to put the yoke back into place, gently put it on there, make sure that it's level, and then tighten everything up. I went ahead and gave it a couple ugga-duggas with the breaker bar. I don't know what the spec is, but I just made sure that it was relatively tight. Now it's time to reconnect the maroon and yellow colored plugs inside of the airbag assembly. Snap the unit back into place and get ready because the horn's gonna honk. Yo! Just got done with the install. It wasn't that easy, but it wasn't impossible. Obviously, I did it myself. I've got a bunch of quick tips in here that I think help make the process a little bit easier compared to some of the quick tutorial videos that are out there. But this is my debut drive. Haven't left the driveway yet. It already feels and looks a little awkward. Definitely not something I'm used to, but I will say that having my arm rested on the armrest, holding the steering wheel, feels mighty comfortable. Like I got both armrests chilling. This feels ideal. I can fully grip. How can I show you this? How can I show you? Let me show you. This is the view from the driver's seat. And this is what I mean. I can comfortably rest my elbow here and here and hold the wheel. And this just feels nice. You have more width on the bottom with a yoke style wheel. And I think that this is going to be the move, guys. Let's go. If you're interested in picking up one of these, you can head over to Hanshow's website at hansshow.com. They've got multiple options to choose from. I ended up going with the Alcantara leather option in black that looks and feels like it came straight from the factory. Make sure to use my discount code for 20% off. The item's already on sale at the time of this video, and you can knock off a total of $64 by typing in Teslamonial into the discount box at checkout. All right, so let's get ready for it. Auto shift. Engaged into drive. Oh man, that's so cool. I got to admit, auto shift made me a believer. Okay, so automatically this doesn't feel unnatural yet. And you can still do that thing where you kind of like let the wheel roll. Yeah, this is not bad, guys. Okay, about to make a left turn. Let's hit it. Yeah, you can still turn it like a wheel. Everybody who complains about this are a bunch of dummies. So let's hit another left turn because they're doing some construction up here on the street. And yeah, this is like, it feels a little different, but it's not that different, guys. And look how much space I have. I feel like this is kind of a game changer for my YouTube channel just because the steering wheel's not in the way. I'm going to miss driving like this, I think, though. So we'll see if I end up getting one of the Cybertruck style yokes pretty soon. Are these guys done with their construction yet? Get out of my way. Get out of here. Oh, okay. So a little awkward because I like let the wheel slip. We're going to make a right-hand turn. I feel like you just kind of have to grab the wheel with like that, you know, underhand position and whip it because that's what I'm doing here. It feels fun. This isn't awkward, and I think eventually I'll get used to it. But I'm telling you, the number one reason why I like this is I can have my elbows planted like this and just chilling. No longer feeling like where's that sweet spot to put my elbows. You know what I mean? Like my elbows are chilling on both armrests. I feel like this is like the ultimate long trip steering wheel. Like, guys, I'm actually mad that I didn't put this on sooner. I thought that having one of these was going to be awkward and weird and difficult, but so far I've only been driving for a few minutes and this just feels normal as ever. So what about doing like a full 360 U-turn in here? Boom. Not weird at all. Not weird at all. Oh my gosh, guys, I'm sorry. I feel like in the past I kind of hated on the yoke steering wheel and I didn't get the vibe, but this has got me actually excited. I haven't been this pumped about a feature in the Model Y for a long time, and obviously this isn't a stock feature of the Model Y, but this is something that makes me feel a little bit more excited. I've got the steering wheel all the way out, I believe. Actually, let me go ahead and test that for you guys. So right now I've got it, I think, all the way out and all the way up. So let's go to my controls. Let's go to my steering. Yeah, it's as out as it can be. So I can have it go in, but I don't want it to go in. I've got it as close to me as possible, but I've got it as low as possible too. So let's take it up a bit and see if that does anything different. Still feels comfortable, doesn't feel uncomfortable. I feel like I like it lower though, personally, because again, I want my elbows to be able to rest on the armrests comfortably. So I'm going in here, I'm about to hit a little cul-de-sac, swoop it around. It's not hard at all to do U-turns in this. I think I like this, guys. I think this is gonna be something that really actually helps overall with the way I feel comfortable in this vehicle. Because I'm telling you, one of the biggest things that bugged me about the Model Y at first was I could not find a comfortable place to rest my left arm. Now that I've got this and I have a little bit more width on the wheel, it actually makes everything sit 100% perfect. This is a game changer, guys, 100%. So now for the ultimate test, I'm about to back up into my driveway. So let's see what we're working with. All right, so you spin it around, put the car in reverse, and you can still do that little palm on the steering wheel rolly thing. It's not hard to do at all, actually. So this still feels quite natural. Nothing difficult, nothing weird about it. I think definitely the benefits outweigh what little cons there are, which at this point I haven't really found what cons there are. So maybe there will be some, and I'll try to let you know in a video in this future. But so far, I like the look, I like the feel, I like the functionality. As far as I can tell, all the buttons work. The volume control's working, windshield wiper thing is working, camera button works just fine. And let's see if the microphone does. Route me to the nearest Chick-fil-A. Dang. And as for the feeling goes, I mean, this feels like it's Tesla OEM. Feels like it came straight from the factory. Matches the color, matches the feel. I couldn't ask for a better feel or fit. This is a game changer, guys, 100%. I don't think I have to yap too much more about this. If you enjoyed this video, go ahead and give a like. Subscribe to the channel because I got like no followers and I'm trying to find a way to quit my job one day and do this full time. That would be super cool because I low-key hate my life sometimes. So again, guys, every single time you watch one of my videos and leave a comment and a like below, it just gives me a little bit of a hit of dopamine that I did something positive for the world. So if you appreciated this video, go ahead, drop a like, drop a comment, tell me your thoughts, tell me you love me, tell me you hate me. It don't matter. It drives the engagement. So hopefully, guys, I will see you again next time on Tesla.